Hey, you! You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed because you're an untouchable success. To support us and gain access to great exclusive shows like our brand new Supernatural watch-along Himboos, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. You'll also get your lucky little mitts on hundreds of episodes of our other exclusive shows like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, and the complete series of Fox Mulder is a Maniac. We do movie nights, game streaming, regular mini-series and surprise shows, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want, within reason. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by heading to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed. Probably don't need help with that word.
Because it's a drama.
It's a drama about drama.
Yeah, I see what they were going for. I get it. I was watching the movie, and I was halfway through, and I went, oh, it's the drama.
Oh, Lady Hawk.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched the drama, to which I thought you were supposed to save for your mama.
That's true.
All right, so before we got married, we did this thing where we said the worst thing we've ever done.
Okay. I'll tell mine if we all do it. Promise?
What did you do?
This dog.
Beer bottles and porn.
You left an Arab night.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing I've ever done?
Okay,
Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna order an Uber.
Emma, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Ted Drama.
that's his name. Ted Drama.
Yeah. Tom Ace.
This is all right. We had a weird weekend because, look, what are we gonna do? Go see the Michael Jackson biopic? No,
Probably not. No. Although my theater was swamped. That movie is crushing.
Wow.
It did like 40 million on opening
I mean,
day.
he was the most,
He's one of the
biggest pop
most.
star.
He's one of the
I get
most famous people in history. Yeah, it's.
But I'm
probably-
not. I was really curious about this film, even though
Yes.
there's I wanted to see this.
Yeah, there was also Over Your Dead Body, which is another film that
Yeah, I
everybody
wanna
should
see
run out
that.
and see.
But I'm glad we saw this because I think
too.
this is going to be juicy conversation.
I think this is a real dark horse of a movie. I think this movie might kind of linger. It didn't have it's not had like a huge opening. Like it doesn't. I haven't really seen too many people talking about it. I haven't seen much buzz around it. But I feel like that might change as the year progresses, and people sit with it for longer.
Yeah, I saw some internet buzz because the poster or one of the posters is you're once you see the movie, you're like, oh, like that's clever. Like it's basically, we're gonna spoil the movie from here on.
Yes, yeah.
The poster of them taking a picture and she's doing finger guns at him.
Yep.
I have a lot of big brave opinions about this movie. I liked this movie.
So did I. Liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, me too. But I do have some questions, and I guess, is this movie fucking with me? I've been wanting to talk to someone about this because the movie poses a moral thing.
It does.
Moral
Yeah, it's a real
question.
trolley problem of a movie.
So the premise is Robbie Pattinson is getting married to Zendaya. And they're like a week out.
They're in a
at
freak
most.
off. They're in a freak off to see who's
They are.
the weirder freak, and it might surprise you.
Yes, it might surprise you. And they sit around with friends and they're doing that wedding thing where they're like checking out food and wine and they clearly are both pretty wealthy, it seems. Like they have a very nice apartment. They have a dance coordinator. They have everything. They have the works of this
Yeah,
wedding.
we eventually learn he's like the head curator at the Cambridge Museum of Art.
Yeah, so they're doing well for themselves.
Yeah.
They're a smart couple. And they sit around with friends and they happen to get into a conversation of what's the worst thing you've ever done. This is all in the trailer still. And as the trailer sort of reveals, if you watch the longer trailer, Zendaya, what's her actual character's name? There's
Emma.
Charlie and Emma.
Emma was her name, and Charlie is our pets. Yeah.
She says something fucked up. Mm-hmm. And then the movie, at least my understanding was the movie is going to be about that, about like about dealing with that fact right before, it's that idea of like they're about to get married and she's a completely different person.
Yeah.
I guess. And so the thing she reveals, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, because I had to go out to pee for like a minute of this movie. So maybe I missed because the editing of this movie is really cool, but it's very fast. Mm-hmm. She reveals that when she was about 14, so the first guy talks about how he used his girlfriend as a human shield against a dog. It's like a funny story. The second person. Yeah. Well, it's the worst thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
Right. The second person reveals something quite fucked up, that as a kid, she locked a kid in a closet in this abandoned house and didn't tell anybody.
She locked a mentally disabled neighbor kid in a closet in a broken down RV in the woods and left him there overnight. She didn't tell anyone. She never told anyone.
No, and he was found.
He was found. Yeah. But she never told anyone. The search party came to her house. The kid's father came to her house. Never told anyone that she locked him in there.
Robert Pattinson reveals he's a real flaccid story about how he cyberbullied.
He cyberbullied somebody so badly they had to move.
Yeah, that's not nothing. He's really British in this, and he's really like and awkward, and he does like you can't
it's
quite.
It's very 90s Hugh Grant performance where he barely finishes a sentence in this movie.
Yeah. And then Zendaya reveals that when she was 14, she planned to kill everybody, to shoot up her school, a school shooting, to the point that she left a video, like a suicide video.
She recorded a manifesto, yeah.
And we learn later the only reason she didn't go through with it is because another spree shooting happened, and it like took the wind out of her sails, and she had. I guess my question was. It's more of a statement. That's not that bad.
No, it's not. Well,
okay, is that the point of the movie? Because the movie seemed like, and again, I liked this movie. It feels like a Seinfeld episode.
Yes, very much so. I wrote down the two things that I wrote down about this is that this movie reminded me a lot of Sour Grapes and So I Married an Axe Murderer.
Okay.
Which Sour Grapes
I do not remember.
Okay, Sour Grapes is a movie written by Larry David. It's about a friend buys another friend a lottery ticket, and the lottery ticket is like $1 million winner, and the other friend's like, well, I should get some of that money because I bought you the ticket. But you're right, it's very Seinfeld.
I was laughing most of the movie.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a funny-ass movie.
It struck me because my audience I was in wasn't laughing as much. And I was like, I guess this is the point of the movie. I was like, am I fucked up? This isn't a problem. This isn't a problem at all for me.
It's a lot of
story she told.
It's a lot of intense tension with a lot of awkwardness and then like real big moments of like release and big laughs. But it's cringe humor, and it's definitely a black comedy.
Robert Pattinson basically he detonates over this.
He unravels. He unravels.
Yeah. We'll talk about it, but to a finale that is like more than you'd think it would be. Like I didn't think this movie was going to be that.
I actually thought that was my one criticism. I thought it was going to be bigger. I thought the culmination, the pop off at the wedding was going to be bigger.
I thought it was going to be smaller. That's really funny.
Well, because earlier on, when they really lay into her about this admission. And they go home for the night, and she's just hammered. She has like a flash of shooting everybody at the wedding.
Yeah.
So they kind of are, they're the movie is definitely playing with that. And I mentioned So I Married an Axe Murderer because it's like Robert Pattinson. The thrust of the movie is him unraveling over what he should be feeling about this.
Yes.
Like, should he be concerned? Should he call the police? That should, like, a couple of people tell him, I would call the police. Yeah.
And I guess, so for people listening who maybe not seen the movie, we should probably explain the details and why I'm like, not that big of a deal. I'd still marry Zendaya. I'd still marry someone I loved. I wouldn't even question it. It's because the story is of someone who's in a country with very easy access to firearms, very little mental health help, a huge combinations of things in this country where like spree
There's a
shootings is a
culture.
complex. Yeah, there's a culture. It's a complex situation where like if you're 14 and you're a bully or you're getting bullied and you don't feel like you have any friends and you're suicidal, this is why it's like your brain isn't formed. Like I'm not excusing really murder, but it's like there's definitely like it's part of an epidemic in this country that's a combination of factors where it's like no spree shooter's the same. I don't think they're the victims or anything, but we're seeing the story of a young bullied girl with access to a gun who is like makes this really impulsive, awful idea, and then she doesn't go through with it. And it's not just because there's another school shooting. They show like the fallout of that, and she breaks, and she has this moment of empathy, and she finds a purpose, and she becomes anti-gun.
She makes friends is what happens.
Yeah.
Like the whole reason, it's not like an impulsive thing. She falls into the spree shooting, mass shooting culture online, as so many young people do in this country.
Exactly. Yes.
Because she feels like she doesn't have any friends. She doesn't have a friend group. She's completely kind of ostracized, and then she doesn't do the shooting. And in the aftermath of the shooting, where it's unclear why she breaks, actually, to me. Like they do have that scene where she's looking at her fellow students and crying. I think you're right. I think that is part of it.
It's like a slow roll, right? Where it's not right away. You don't turn overnight.
Right.
It was that
It's
another
how
shooting
she's-
happened, so she probably in that mind delayed it, and then the process of like
and then
we brought a
somebody in their
counselor
class
in.
died from it. It turned out.
Yes, and
You're
then
right,
she's
yeah.
seeing she's seeing the realistic, like what actually happens,
And having to
the
look-
aftermath.
Because she starts crying when she has to look at another girl in the face who also seems to be sort of kind of a lone sort of bullied kid.
She's and she's the girl that looked at her originally and said like, "Can you imagine someone doing that?" Like, and the idea is like, suddenly everybody in the class is seeing each other more as humans.
Yeah.
Like the cheesy grief counselor did a good job. He doesn't even know it. He's never going to know it, but he did a very good job at that school.
But then through that, one of the other kids who overheard her saying, spouting off statistics in class one day and misinterpreted it. Because
she knew a little too much about shootings.
Yeah.
And he thought, oh, she's a fellow advocate.
Right, she's a fellow gun advocate. So he invites her to a gun advocacy meeting, and she's kind of like, okay, and becomes friends with all those kids, and then becomes an anti-gun activist, throws her dad's rifle in the lake, and all this.
Right.
So, like,
that all comes out throughout the movie.
yeah,
mind you.
yeah. This is all stuff that is, we don't know any of this up top. It all,
Right.
We're presented up front with a scenario that Robert Pattinson is this huge weirdo who is kind of always a little off and always kind of getting
lies
things wrong.
to her about a book, a white lie to get to know her.
It's a meet
And then
cute type thing, and like
and he
I also
tells
agree
her
with him.
after.
This is so interesting, like because the movie's about a couple of things. I think one big thing is to paraphrase, but it's a piece of old wisdom that gets passed down to married couples or people in serious relationships in one form or another. But it's basically don't invite other people into your problems because they'll start telling you how to feel about it.
Yeah.
Like there are things
That's a good advice with this, where because he gets the yips basically because everybody's telling him their opinions on it, or
on how he
starts
should be
asking
feeling,
people.
and how
Yeah.
serious it is. And it's the same thing with her too, because it's a thing that she never really dealt with either.
Yeah.
So that's a big theme of it. There's that Seinfeld like esque question at the center of is it worse that she planned something way more heinous
than someone who did something.
than the other three at the table who actually went through with things that caused physical harm to other people,
And here's the second
like
part.
lasting harm to other people.
Yeah, here's the second factor: is the other friend, the one who revealed she locked the kid.
Alana Haim.
She flips out at this news.
She really stakes down in that victim culture thing where she's like, I have a cousin who was paralyzed in a school shooting, and it's completely
Later,
tone
Pattinson tries
deaf.
to ask, like, are you guys close? No, okay.
That's an incredible scene when he corners the cousin.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And he realizes in the moment, I'm being fucking
Right. I'm
nuts.
being fucking crazy right now.
Okay, because this was the funny thing is, I guess this is the point of the movie, now that we're talking about it. Zendaya ends up being, to me, like the most relatable and normal person, because to me it was like
They both
again,
kind of
there's-
are, but
there's-
yeah.
what she did was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But if a friend told me that, my reaction would say, that's fascinating. You should actually write a book. More people need to know how that turn happened. That's a really important thing that happened to your life. Maybe that person doesn't want to, but like my reaction wouldn't be like, because people start treating her like she must be a sociopath.
Like they immediately start saying she must be a psychopath.
Right. And I was like,
says, yeah.
it feels like everybody's a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Like that's my feeling around it, which is that everybody has to be so grotesquely weird about it. Again, I'm not saying that what she did wasn't upsetting, just that it's this level of event that people would normally react with a little more nuance than what happens. And like it nudged me a little because it's like, okay, this doesn't feel like the real world. This feels like a sketch or like a Seinfeld episode where everybody has to like react in a kind of a very over the top way where I was like, oh God, all your friends are shitty, man. Like it's not, it's bad, but it's not something where I'd suddenly like start grabbing pitchforks and go like, we get her. It's like, no, that's the last thing you'd want to do. You just heard a story about someone who didn't do it, and I'd want to know why, and I'd want to know like
be a zillion follow-up questions.
Because I, like a lot of people, believe people can be reformed and change.
Of course.
Yeah, and
that's
that teenagers. Yeah, they even say in it like, teenagers, like they even
to
like
excuse
write it
their
off.
own behavior, right?
Yeah. So I think that's the point, I guess, is that they're so over the top hypocritical.
The point is
but
empathy. The point is empathy.
Yeah. It's just in such an over the top way that I actually found myself going like, wait, did I miss something?
No, I think that's intentional.
Yeah, and that's really cool then. Like, again, I liked this movie.
I think he's
I felt like I was losing my mind about it.
Yeah, you do. There's like so much pressure on him to feel one way about it, and he clearly doesn't.
Right.
Like he clearly doesn't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah.
But well, he does and he doesn't. Like he can't stop obsessing over it, and that's why I found him very relatable. Because for one thing, these are the conversations you have before you get married. First of all,
yes, in private.
Yes,
that's
not
the thing. The thing he's mad about that I'd be mad about. He's like, "Why did you fucking say it then in front of everybody?" And I had to like. She has a reasonable excuse. She's like, "I was drunk. We were all because
she was also
Seinfeld."
and she was also being
be open, and then she gets. Yeah.
And she was being intensely pressured. Like they do a great. That scene is so tense, and it's focused on how uncomfortable she is as it's going around the table
waiting for her turn.
And it's like, and it's Alana Haim's character, who's just the biggest dickhead in this movie.
She's an asshole. Yeah,
She's
great.
Rampaging asshole in this.
Yeah.
She forces this conversation by saying, "I'm going to tell Mike's Mamadou Achi, I think is."
He's also great in this.
Yeah,
everybody's great in this.
Yeah, everybody's great. But he plays Robert Pattinson, Charlie's best friend, Mike. And she's like, "I'll tell you. Mike told me the worst thing he ever did, and I'll tell it." And he's like, "No, I don't want to tell that story." She's like, "If you don't tell it, I will." We told each other this before we got married, on the night we got married. And then he's like, "Yes." And then we said we would never talk about it again.
Right. She's bringing up a conversation that they had in private
that was meant
these
to
other
stay
two
private.
didn't.
Yeah, yes, that they have not had.
They should
have
have
had this conversation. Yes.
But it's not the end of the world that they didn't know to have it.
No. It's just and when you have these conversations, they often can change the way you thought of a person.
For sure.
Because not that it changes how you feel about them. It's just this is I mean, getting married's grown up shit. You have to
Yeah.
have intense conversations and be completely open about everything. And that means the uncomfortable stuff too. And it's going to be uncomfortable for the partner to hear it. And the partner is going to need, in some cases, I'm not saying across the board, but I'm just saying
Oh, yeah.
the fact that he doesn't know how to feel about it is very relatable.
Yeah, this is why actually
And this is why you do this in private. You know,
Oh yeah,
with the-
we've watched many movies where there's a married couple who are the villains and they're doing something despicable, and I
Yeah.
always think like, well, they're a healthy couple.
Yeah.
Like in a vacuum, there's no secrets between them.
no,
That's
they're
pretty
backing
good.
each other. Yeah.
Yeah, they're backing each other up.
They
They
put
knew
all
they
the
had
cards
that
on the table,
conversation
yeah. Mhm.
before they got married. Of like, listen, I'm evil, and they're like, oh, I'm evil too, and it's like, okay, great, good for them.
I mean, you talk about everything. You talk about kids. You talk about long-term planning. You talk about finances. You talk about
Yeah.
it's everything. It's, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, and this is basically they have that too late, and we just see it's basically a couple having a bad week that you kind of know while watching, like they'll make it through. The problem is it's the same week as their wedding, and it's like it's the wrong week to have this week, and they're overlapped almost. Where it's
It was-
like if it was just them in private,
Yeah.
he might get a little weirded out by it. They might need a few days, but in the end. He says that the first thing he says when they talk about it, he's like, I still love you. Like, it's never in doubt. So it's like, you're right. It's everybody around them. And like, you kind of, the whole time I was watching, I kept wanting Patterson to just be like, you know what? Fuck all of you. Like that feeling of like,
That's what he finally
get the fuck
does.
out of my face. Yeah, he finally
He
does.
finally does. But yeah, it's
Wrong time, but yes.
Well, but
right
but
time,
yeah,
convenient time
yeah. But
to
it's
address
just,
everyone.
It's it's if they had just had a day to just sit with each other and deal with this, but they have to constantly get up and leave for different wedding appointments, and there's constant interference from job stuff and friend stuff, and their friends are and
there's also that where it's that since they are trying to figure out between each other, there's a different conversation between friends where it's like, yeah, if there's a ripple in her friendship, you know, that can happen. You know, she's having a fight with this friend maybe that could, but she's so overwhelmed she sort of inadvertently gets her friend fired from a project that they're both working on. And like her friend is a dick. Again, she's an amazing dick in this, but it's sort of like you can feel like, oh, if this was all done in the right order, like if Robert Pattinson already knew this story, like then they're just contending with this other couple and they could focus on that, you know, like, but it's like, it's this blindsided moment where three people learn this thing about one person and those three people all have a different relationship with them.
and they all have
and
a different
so-
reaction to it.
Right, because like the friend isn't exactly, she's friends through the relationship, right? Where
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
so she doesn't really care about her enough to be like, oh, I want to understand you.
No.
She's just like, fuck this person.
Yeah. It's a very extreme reaction. And I mean,
I think it's extreme. It's weird to say because she has a certain backstory that's like, yeah, my cousin was in a school shooting, and I'm not going to speak to anybody who was involved in a school shooting. Well, she does, but you know what I mean, where it's like everybody has a right to their own emotional reactions to things.
sure.
But it is sort of the thing where you're like, that's a bit much, and like considering that everybody there is like agreeing that what she did was bad. You know, if Zendaya was like, it was awesome and I want to do it
Yeah.
again, that's one thing.
I was wearing
'Cause, like,
sunglasses and riding 2 skateboards at once. It was
Right.
fucking awesome.
Everybody can be reformed, but you know, when you're, I don't know, nearing 80 and the president, or like you're just an asshole in some other scenario, you know, there's some people where it's like, okay, the work that has to be done here is a lot, you know, that people have to want to be reformed and people have to be, you know, it's a large conversation is my point. But Zendaya isn't a monster in the moment. So it's like, again, what a weird reaction.
Yeah, it's
Like, it's the sort of thing where it's, I don't know. it's a different conversation, and I guess that's the point they used it, is because they wanted to use, this writer-director wanted to use something that is controversial and debated, right? Where it's like, some people do want to just say, oh, there's evil people. It's not guns don't kill people, people don't kill people.
Well,
where it's like, it's a more nuanced conversation with a lot of factors.
Particularly
so you
this
throw
one.
that into this. Yeah.
Yeah, particularly this one. If it had been something more like, it's not American History X, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's more like, ugh, if I really am not comfortable with this guy.
But again, if it was someone who was like, I used to be a Nazi when I was in my 20s and I'm reformed,
I'm reformed now. Yeah.
It's now 10 years later. That would don't get me wrong, that would fuck me up if I learned the person I loved was that would really.
That's what I'm talking about. I think something like that would maybe justify a more extreme reaction, because it's like your ideology was specifically based on people like me not existing.
Right, you want a lot more follow-ups.
Yeah.
Like a whole lot. Where if you learned like, oh, they were raised into it. They were in a cult essentially and they had to escape.
Yeah,
I'd go like, oh, that makes sense.
I need to know more about that and your journey away from that. Like I need to but like I would understand somebody having an extreme reaction to that.
And this, it's really extreme.
It's really, really extreme, especially considering the setting. Like they're like 3 days before the wedding, and it's not a rehearsal dinner. They're like trying out. They're tasting the entrees, I guess, and the wine.
They've all had a bit to drink, is I think the idea.
Oh yeah.
But this continues for it. Is I think it's over the top. Is my point where like everybody. Like they're like, you're not serious, are you? Like, and it's shit like, and they're like really disgusted. And again, it's funny to say this about what she reveals, but I was just like, I kind of do think locking that kid for a day and then not coming back.
I think
and like leaving him to presumably die in the woods. I think that was worse, honestly, than someone who was contemplating something really bad and then veered away and changed.
I think all three of the stories they told were worse than what she told.
I think so too. And again, that's probably the point, right? Is they crafted these 4 stories.
He argues as much
perfect.
later to them where he's like, but she didn't actually do anything. Like, we actually hurt people. She didn't. Right.
If I thought about and bought equipment for like fucking a parrot, and then someone I know like fingered a parrot, the parrot finger is worse. Unless it was consensual, but like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody has weird thoughts about parrots, but like, it's what you do ultimately.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And what you say, I think, like the things you encourage and.
Well, speaking is action. Speaking is action.
You're right. Speaking is doing. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the worst thing I walked away, and not worst thing, but like the most tut thing I could walk away from that conversation with Zendaya is just like, you should probably consider talking to somebody.
Yeah, I was going to say that's why
you need to explore that. I think.
Yeah,
because that stuff never really was. It's great that you moved away, but that stuff's still sitting there. Yeah,
like that's what I mean. Is like she has like I think of it as like you have valuable information in your brain about like reforming someone from that. You should go to a therapist. Yeah, like basically the worst thing she did. But also very human, where she just moved on from
didn't address it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that mess there.
Yeah,
somebody will clean that up eventually. That's a future Tom problem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she just tucked it away.
I recognize it. Like I found them both very relatable. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, well, I'm not dealing with that right now. Is that going to cause you problems down the line? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll those dice.
I'll find out. Maybe one day I'll punch a wall and I won't know why, but you know. Just going to tuck those feelings away.
Just going to smother that.
Fold them up.
Yep.
I said in another podcast I've never been to therapy, and like therapy is one of those things I think everybody should probably do. We talked about with Mumford how in Mumford therapy is treated as like this specialized thing.
That's where we
it's
talked
like-
about it. I think that's where you said I've never been to therapy.
Yeah, where like now it's like no, that's a maintenance that everybody should probably do.
I think we all do a form of it. Like whether you're just
Yeah.
venting to friends or coworkers, it's because that's kind of it. And like your friends or coworkers or family members will invariably give you advice or try to help you interpret what you're feeling and going through. And that's therapy.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it would be weird to say I've never practiced therapy in some way, but it's just someone saying I never go to therapy to me is like someone saying I never bring my car to the mechanic.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? That's
You're
not
just letting it
something to be
ride.
proud
Huh?
of. Yeah.
You're just letting it ride.
Oh, you're just
That check
yeah.
engine light's been on for 17 years.
Yeah, it's not like a good thing. So yeah, I would say like that's clearly like there's a repression
yeah.
to her and to him.
The both, yeah.
Yeah. Because they do, yeah. So they, it's funny because I guess I was going to say not much happens in this movie, but that's not true. It's just that the movie is like this slow boil and then it's edited in this way. Like the whole thing is he's trying to write a speech.
Trying to write a wedding speech, yeah.
And the first idea is, of course, how did you meet? And they had the meet cute and it's a good idea, is that he's the creep at the coffee shop and he sees her reading a book, takes a picture of the book when she's not looking, looks up the book so he can talk about it, walks up to her and starts talking and she ignores him completely. What we learn is she's deaf in one ear and so she just doesn't hear him. And then she says, he basically fucks it up completely. And what she, having that empathy that we've talked about, says, you want to just start it over? Like she understands, he's Robert Pattinson. She's like, yeah, this guy's Robert Pattinson.
He's very
Looks like
handsome.
Robert Pattinson.
He's drowning and he's saying insane things, but I'll give him another chance.
Yeah, she gives him that grace. She looks at someone that like she can kind of, like she's been in a position where perhaps she was the weirdo.
She can
And
tell.
it's like,
She can tell what he's like. I pointed out, he never finishes sentences, and like you're saying, her empathy is what in this very first scene. This is it's in their entire relationship. Is this in their meet cute? It's in this first scene of them together. You're right. Where she's, you want to just start again because she can feel what his intent is,
right,
and can tell that he's sort of screwed it up, and it's not really his fault. And it's everything that we come to learn about her, about how she developed empathy, and it's how
there.
yeah, and it's how they work together. He's so anxious. He's such a nervous guy. We never
And
see, like I said, we
honestly,
never see
like-
him finish a sentence really. But
In that
she's still
scene,
able to intuit him and get like she does that little pants pulling down gag on him to like get him to
he
get him
tries
to
it on her.
Tries it again and bonks her in the nose. Like he's so bad at it. But she gets him.
She gets him. And that's the thing is like, even I don't fully get him. And what I mean by that is like in that first scene, I was like, oh, is he the fucking problem? Like he's a little creepy.
Of course it's done that way. Like it starts off like fucking hard candy.
Yeah. Where you're like, ugh.
Yeah, you don't get a good vibe from him.
No. And like she clearly can more easily exist in the world than him at this point, but at one point she didn't. And so she feels that and has that empathy. And then we see like first date, it's all meet cute shit. But then as he's writing the speech, he learns the reason she's deaf in one ear is because she was practicing shooting guns. And suddenly that cute idea is like poisoned in his mind, right? Because like it's that where it's he can't get over this piece of her that he didn't know was there.
It recontextualizes everything he knew about her.
Yeah. And so we're seeing that happen, and these flashbacks and these flashes of moments, like when they're first confronting each other, there's like moments of them like making up and moments of them screaming, where it's like it's all that you can tell it's not really happening in the moment. It's these flashes of thoughts that's a really good representation of how we think in general, where it's like these intrusive thoughts coming and going, good or bad. Like
But
him being all of
he's
these memories
laughing
of him with her. And it's him with the little girl version of her. Shout out to that little girl who gets the romantic scenes with Robert Pattinson where they hold hands.
They get to stroll and hold hands while he's looking stricken.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. I love that scene because I have thoughts like this, and they appear almost exactly like that, and you almost resist them because you think you're supposed to be feeling a different way. And I loved that scene for that because it's when they're going to have a talk about it. It's the following morning. She's awake, hungover, but coherent and no longer drunk and can talk. She's hungover, but sober. And he comes back in with coffee, and they sit down and they're going to talk about it. And we see it's on her, and she looks really upset. And then we see a quick flash of her like laughing, her doing that laugh that he keeps talking about that he loves so much.
Yeah.
And then we see him, and then it's a quick shot of him like laughing and then like kind of like, oh, it wasn't that silly, and kind of like going over to the couch. And then it cuts so we can tell that's how they both really feel about it.
Right. Because you ever have a fight with...
Yes.
Yeah, you ever have a fight with your partner where you're like, can't we just skip to the end?
Can we skip?
Like,
I don't want to feel
We're not going
this.
to break this off. Like,
But-
we're not ending it. Let's just fucking skip to the end. Like, you know what? This is too much work. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Like that feeling.
And it's also...
I've been on both sides
Yeah.
of an argument where my feeling was that of like, oh, let's just fucking...
Yeah. But also being hesitant and not knowing whether to embrace that feeling, that thought
Right.
that I have, because I'm thinking, well, but I'm supposed to be mad about this, right? Aren't I supposed to be
Right.
mad? Or aren't I supposed to be upset? Or aren't I supposed to be sad? Or,
What is the purpose? Is it to change behavior? Are we supposed to have a conversation about what needs to change so this doesn't happen again? You know what I mean? Where it's like, that's the point of an argument, right? Between a couple, at least, is to come to some sort of agreement.
Yeah.
You know, unless, again, are we going to come to an agreement?
Find
or,
the common ground again.
Yeah, or is this it? You know?
Yeah.
And when it's about like doing the dishes, it's like, fuck, like let's just figure this out, you know?
But,
Obviously, it can be more complex, but yeah, it's that feeling where they both just want to be done with it.
Right, but he has his friends telling him it's this monstrous, terrible thing, and his best friend just told him he should call the police. Although
Right,
actually,
and
I wasn't sure about that clip, that real quick scene. I wasn't sure if that really happened because we're on Zendaya, and then it shows us Robert Pattinson out talking to Mike, getting the coffee, and
Right.
Mike's like, I would call it, and it cuts right back to her. So I'm not
I
sure
think
if
it's
she's
her
imagining
thinking, yeah.
that's what he's out doing.
she has this paranoia that starts happening all the way to the wedding,
Yes.
which is everybody
knows now, yeah.
And I think that was a flashback, or not flashback, a fantasy, where
I do
it's
too,
like
yeah.
she's imagining him going out, talking to his friend being like, "You need to call the fucking
That makes-
cop."
yeah.
She's a psycho, and he even is like, "Oh, in that fantasy, he's like, she's fucking crazy," you know?
Yeah, you're right. And that's the language of that scene, too, because in that same scene is where we get those glimpses of them wanting to laugh, but that's not actually what they do.
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
you're right.
Yeah. And then he shows up with coffee because she's hungover.
Yeah.
And, like, she's feeling this deep shame. Again, she felt like the person I felt for and related to the most, in the sense of her feelings were very human, where it's like the next morning is like, I'm deeply fucking embarrassed and ashamed, and Robert Pattinson isn't home anymore, and like what's gonna like she has no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
at that point.
where do we stand? Yeah, and I've been where he is too, where it's like, this is a big thing you just revealed to me.
Right. There's one more like fly in the ointment that happens later. Because basically, I don't know if it's halfway through, Zendaya tries the bit again. She goes, "Let's start over. Hi, how are you? Do you live around here?" And they're in the living room. There's an excruciating scene where
they try to
fuck.
They try to fuck, and it's fucking funny. Robert
it's very
Pattinson
funny.
just
Kicking it
sadly
up.
jerking it.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man.
Oh,
Zendaya,
man.
come
Yeah.
on.
But it doesn't work. Like, he really bails out of it in a mean way. He's just not having it.
Yeah. And she tries to reset, and he just can't do it.
Yeah, he can't stop thinking about it, which
Right.
again is understandable.
And that's the whole thing with his character, is like, he still needs something. There's something that's been left unsaid. There's this feeling where it's like, I think that's it, where it's like, she's like, I don't want to talk about it. Can we not talk about it? And his feeling is like, I'm left hanging. Like he can't reset because there's just something that hasn't clicked in him. There's just whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't quite know. And then he almost basically fucks up the whole thing. Like he goes to, I think, his coworker.
One of his coworkers, yeah.
Yeah, and he's talking to her about it, and he brings it up as a hypothetical. What if your partner, what if the guy you're with, she's with someone that he asked her what's the worst thing you ever done. She says, I cheated, which is an important thing to note for her character. And then he's like, what if your partner like almost shot up a school? And she says, I would call the cops. And then this is actually, I missed a little of this.
She asks him a lot of follow-up questions.
Yeah. It seems like she's kind of like, did this happen to somebody? But she's like confused about it. And then they almost fuck.
Yeah.
Like he
breaks down because she tells him the same thing. Basically, like, well, everything you're saying, isn't that just what a psychopath would do? And he sort of freaks out and is weeping, and she tries to comfort him, and he kisses her, and then they're just about to fuck, but they don't.
Yeah, he's just like nope. And she's like, right, nope,
right, yeah, you're right, yep,
yeah, bye. Yeah. Like they both are with someone, and so like that.
Yeah, they're both like, okay, that was a mistake.
Right, and of course,
he's in a position of power there because
but the moral thing is he was going to do something and didn't do
right, yep.
And so like I don't know, he was basically, you can tell it's a self-destructive thing. He's
spiraling. Yeah, he's grasping at he's spiraling.
But they don't do it.
They don't do it.
Which is, I think, the more common conversation couples might have, right? The like, I almost cheated on you conversation is a more grounded conversation than I almost shot up a school.
Right.
So it's like neat that they did all this work to bring it to this hypothetical that more people in the audience are going to instantly recognize as a relatable thing, which I think is a cool move.
Yeah.
And then the wedding happens. And it's time for his speech. And basically before that, there's all these whispering. She thinks, and what you realize is that now they're whispering about two things, right? Because the coworker who he almost had sex with is there with her boyfriend or husband, I don't know which.
Her boyfriend of 3 years, who is a giant.
Yes. He's a monster, yes.
And she builds him up a little bit. It's Chekhov's giant. Like she drops the line like, "Have you seen Blake? He'd kill me immediately if he planned if I knew he was
he's
planning."
A pro wrestler.
Yeah. Like she basically says, "I'd have to call the police on Blake. Have you seen him? He'd kill me immediately if he was planning a murder."
Yeah. Yeah, she's living with a bear. She has to make sure that bear is
and
okay.
then we meet, like, he comes in, it's like, "Hi, I'm Blake. I'm Misha's boyfriend. Yeah. Nice to finally meet you, Charlie." And like he's like a full head taller than Pattinson almost.
It's great.
He's just this massive dude.
Yeah. And so like there's whispers and she overhears someone talking about school shooting, but it's actually, I'm pretty sure, the coworker Misha talking about this weird conversation she had.
It is, yeah.
And it's like you realize that Robert Pattinson is realizing like, I don't know which thing is being talked about, and then Zendaya wants to confront it, and it becomes again. It is a comedy, but there's none of it's played for laughs. It's all just pitch black comedy.
There are some very funny moments, though.
Yes. Yeah, there's some straight up funny moments for sure. So, and then it becomes a situation where it's like their whole family is there. The shitty friend who was the bridesmaid or the bride of honor has to do a speech, and she really fucking sucks.
It's a real asshole of a speech.
But
she never says anything. Yeah, the dad's speech is pretty amazing too.
Yeah, because he starts getting into Zendaya's gun advocacy, and he's like, "I had this rifle that mysteriously disappeared," and it's like, a few people know at this point it disappeared because she took it to do a shooting and then got rid of it. Like, so it's really like perfect awkwardness. Mm-hmm. And then they have a side. Basically, they do a little side meeting. They bring in Misha because she thinks that Misha was heard about the shooting. and Misha assumes they're talking about the fucking thing that happened. So she's just like, okay, he kissed me. And then she's like, fucking what? And it's like, oh, this is going as bad as it could go.
Yep. And right. Well, hasn't gone as bad as it can go yet, because the next thing that happens, if you recall, is Misha says, oh shit, is the school shooting thing real?
Yeah.
Now the worst thing that can happen has happened.
Right. So it's to a comical degree, but a realistic degree.
Yeah.
Everything's blowing up at their wedding.
All of their business is now out in the open. Yeah.
Right. Because at this point, I thought this movie was going to be more subtle. Like it might be like, oh, here comes the wedding. And like, I kind of didn't know, but I was like, I can see them all kind of going through with it and like this being left unsaid. And it's really fucking weird. That was what I hoped it wouldn't, because it culminates to Robert Pattinson giving his speech right after this comes out, not knowing Zendaya what she's thinking about what he did. And he just melts down and says all the wrong things, including the cute things that they told him not to say about how great the sex is.
Yep.
And
it just all comes tumbling out.
Yeah, in a very stupid way. He doesn't specify the school shooting, but it's clear that he says like she didn't
do anything. She didn't do anything.
Yeah. And it all falls apart to the point that Blake gets up, having learned what happened.
Right. He says in his speech, I kissed Misha and that thing with Misha or something. That thing with Misha didn't mean anything. And Blake's like, what? And then you hear them arguing in the back, like, no, we just kissed, and he's getting mad. And then finally he goes like, will you shut the fuck up?
Yeah. Yeah. And he does the thing he should have done to begin with. He tells everybody to shut the fuck up.
Yep.
He basically defends her. He said, again, she didn't do anything. Leave her alone. Stop fucking. He says, like, can everybody stop fucking talking? He takes up her fight.
Yeah.
Like, even if her fight isn't fully rational, her paranoia that everybody's fucking talking about it, he basically goes, like, everybody stop fucking talking about it. Stop murmuring.
He says, stop gossiping. This is a wedding.
Yeah. And that's the key, right? Is, like, she sees that. She sees...
He gets
in all of this,
his
like,
ass
he's
headbutted
taking her
off
side
of his body.
Yeah, the movie, again, the editing's great. Because Blake confronts him. He says, like, will you shut up? And then it hard cut to him coming home, just bloody.
Yeah, his face smashed. I love when we see what happened. Like, Blake just walks right up to, like, nose to nose and stops, like, expressionless, and just looks at him and says, did you sexually harass Misha, yes or no? And then then Charlie starts stammering. He's like, well, I didn't harass, and then just headbutt.
Yeah. Misha is taking a defensive position, as she should. Like, Misha's like, she's trying to find the easiest door out of this situation.
Yeah.
Because
you hear her say, will you use your words?
Yeah, I love when she's like, why don't you use your words? Like, they clearly have a background. They have an issue that they've been dealing with where he's clearly done something like this before.
Yeah.
They don't have a great relationship, it seems.
No.
And then, like, they spoke earlier. They were talking about how wouldn't it be fun if they went to this shitty diner after the wedding. It like comes out naturally, this idea of you never eat at your wedding, you have to eat afterwards. Mm-hmm. And like he doesn't want to do it, and she's like, wouldn't that be cool? And that's early on. This is like I'm telling a joke bad, because that is planted very early, and then he goes home rock bottom and he goes to the diner, and sure enough, so does she. And it's like a beautiful idea of like she finally does the can we start over, and he's ready to finally. Yeah,
he's beaten down, and she's wearing a blaze orange vest. She's wearing a hunter's vest.
Oh yeah, you're right. I love. Yeah, he throws away the gun that says, the coffee cup that says,
like coffee or I shoot.
Yeah. Because again, he is a little bothered by it.
Of course, like, that is a completely natural, understandable response. He doesn't know how to feel about this.
He keeps having these weird images of her and a gun. He has the weird sexy book of sexy ladies with guns on his
book called
desk.
Brain Rot that somebody leaves on his desk.
Yeah, and he's like, who the fuck put this desk there? Like, he's bothered a regular amount. but his friends are basically the outside, like you
really
said.
gassing him up. Like, you should be more extreme about this. You should be more extreme in your feelings. Call the police. She's a psychopath. Like
Right.
it's
Because it's the thing where he's like, you don't know her the way I know her,
Yeah.
which is of course a classic line when someone's in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
But it's like he's right in this case, and that's basically, it's like that. Ultimately, it felt like the thing he had to do finally is say, everybody shut the fuck up. Like, shut up about this. Like, he basically, like the itch he couldn't scratch that like finally allows him to reset, it seems, is like, I don't know. He puts himself, he gets put in a situation just like her where he almost does something bad and he realizes how that feels. And he's able to like empathize, like you said at the start of this. It's about empathy.
Yeah.
And he's able to say, all right, everybody shut the fuck up. Like, fuck off.
I think part of his moment is he realized, like, the subplot with the DJ.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where they think they see the
smoking
DJ
heroin.
They think
or
they see the
think they
DJ
see.
smoking heroin on the corner one night, so they decide to fire her. And it's on their way to this dinner because they bring it up at the dinner, and it's sort of it's what begins the conversation.
And Zendaya is defending her.
Yeah,
she's like, we might be seeing her on our worst day.
Yep.
Like, it's just smoking heroin.
It's not that bad, yeah.
I was on her side with that. She was like, she's not going to be a doctor. She's just DJing. Yeah.
And so was Charlie at first. If you recall, he was like, well, she seemed all right.
Yeah. It's like fucking whatever, and then it's the friends who are like, no,
kind of sort
you
of
should
pressure
fire
it.
her.
And we sort of, just real quick, I like that we get that in the very beginning too, and it didn't click until the movie progressed some. But like we were saying, the movie starts with presenting him as sort of being this weirdo, and you're like, oh, what's going to be the issue with him? But really quickly, as he's relating the story of the meet cute, where he pretended to know the book, and it cuts to him in his apartment, like present day from the flashback where he's writing his vows and his friend Mike is there. And Mike's like, he's telling him the story about their first date when they get to the first date, and Zendaya's asking him questions about the book and he doesn't know anything about it. And he just admits to her, I didn't read the book. I just wanted to talk to you.
Right.
And it cuts to them in the apartment, and Mike is like, why did you not read the book? Why did you tell her that? Why did you double down? Why didn't you read the book and like just so you could pretend that you had known all along? And he was like, that's worse, right? It's better that I told her that. It's better that I admitted that I didn't know anything about the book rather than read the book. So did I. I agreed with him.
Yeah.
But like his friend was adamant about like, no, it's weirder that you told her that you never read it. You should have just read it and covered it up and she would have never known. And that's the movie.
Yeah. I think you're right that ultimately what this came down to, the moral of this movie is, don't let other people tell you how you're supposed to feel about this, because they basically make their friends on purpose, I think, cartoonishly shitty. And that's what it comes down to, is in the end, I was like, these people need new friends.
Yeah.
They have bad friends.
Suck.
And it's like, because it is like Zendaya at the start is, I guess she is supposed to be the most healthy person because she's been there. They did hints of it. I kind of knew it was her because she says early on, like, "Oh, I was like an ugly kid" or something like that.
Yeah, I was ugly.
And I was like, "Oh, I bet she was like, she wasn't always Zendaya." And that's what they're trying to say right away, is like she used to be something else.
Yeah,
and that's the whole thing, is she has this extreme empathy. She sees people for their best, even when they're at their worst, because she just knew what it's like. Early. Yeah.
And what I wanted to continue with the DJ thought was they have that plot thread where they think they see the DJ smoking heroin on the street corner. They decide to fire her with pressure from their shitty friends. Yeah. And when it comes time to fire her, like, basically Charlie feels so bad about it, he makes Zendaya do it, and she like starts like yelling at this person. She's basically brutal. She's brutal about it, and he's really upset about it. And I interpreted that as him being upset that he's doing this to her. Like he's
Yeah, and
dragging Zendaya's empathy out of her in order for her to behave the way that their friends think they should feel about this DJ.
I think so too, and I
Yeah.
think Zendaya is she's at a darker moment where she's just doesn't give a fuck anymore.
She's doing anything to keep him. Like she is so despondent. Like she thinks she has ruined everything. So
Right, and
she's
it's
just
like
agreeing
she's
with whatever
becoming-
he wants. Yeah.
she's becoming a monster.
Yeah.
To do it. Yeah, and it's like she's like fuck it, and so like it's I don't know. It's a very good love story for this
is.
reason because it's two people basically against the world in the end where it's like from the outside you wouldn't excuse or like you would understand if a guest at this wedding was like, fuck those guys, they're fucked up. You know what I mean? Like you'd come out of this wedding go like, oh, the bride and groom were a couple of fucking monsters or something. And that's sort of supposed to be that is like at the end they don't look good to anyone except each other, where it's like, okay, we're gonna be fucked up little monsters together, I guess.
I still
and I am
feel
on
like
their
they're
side.
I still feel like they're their most moral people
Oh yeah, I'm
because
saying
at least
like
they're
superficially,
Right,
like
right,
if
right.
you're a guest at the wedding
Right,
and you don't
yeah.
know everything, you're like, what the fuck? He
hell is
cheated
wrong
on
with
her,
those people?
and she did something like, and that's the point is they blow up in such a way socially where it's like, fuck them. Like it's us against them.
was how it ends. It's they sit down in the diner and she does the bit. So what's your name? Can we start over? It's what we see in the very beginning where Zendaya sees him and has that empathy and it's like, do you want to start over? Should we just do it? You want to do over? You want to mulligan
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah,
and so they
it's
sit down
beautiful.
and basically like, you want to mulligan this one?
Yeah, they're gonna leave town, change their names.
Yeah. And I love that even then he can't be normal. Like she's
Yeah.
like when she starts their role play, she's like, oh, what's your name? Do you come here a lot? What happened to your face? And he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I saved a lady and there was this guy.
He still lies
He's
horribly.
snatching babies. He was snatching babies and eating them. He just
Yeah.
tells this bizarre, insane. Like he can't be normal,
Yeah, because they're both weird little
right?
freaks.
But she gets him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea. It's like find the weird little freak. Find the person who's the same freak as you. And like there's always that feeling of like, when you're with someone, you're also with them socially, right? You're a unit.
Yeah,
And it's like so when someone's really curated, they can't really be necessarily with someone who's not, like not saying that's no one's necessarily incompatible, I guess, but it's that idea is like you have to meet someone at their level or want to be at their level, right? You have to love the things about them.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down
your
to.
feelings for a person, for a partner, can't be conditional on them making X, Y, and Z changes in their life,
Yeah, and being a certain way.
being a certain way that they aren't currently.
Yeah. And that's kind of the idea here is I think he's like, it's weird because he's presented as a weird little freak too, but he's kind of a quote unquote normie, right? Like the idea is like, what you realize is that she's actually kind of a darker person than the people she's hanging out around. And they're way more stuck up. And he was kind of that friend group. And then she came along.
They've never examined themselves the way that she has. And I know I've said a few times that like that's the most thing I could tut at her. Not that I want to ever therapy shame anybody for not
Right.
going to therapy, but I think she could have benefited from it. But she clearly has examined herself and the things she has done more than any of the other people have.
Yeah, it's that thing. It's the stereotype, right? Is if you're a nerd in high school, when you grow up, you're usually more balanced than someone who breezed through high school. That's again not necessarily true. I've met people who were really cool and popular in high school who are very nice today.
It's all a matter of. I think it's a life unexamined. I can't remember the quote exactly.
I think
but-
so too. I think it's that is like I think being a teenager is about getting bruised and getting thrown around and beat up a bit.
Yeah.
Like you have to do it at some point.
Yeah.
And the earlier the better. The more you live life, the more you have a moment of humiliation, it can prepare you for that moment later. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's going to happen. Like this is a weird comparison. I've never been to the hospital overnight. It just hasn't happened to me. Mm-hmm. And I know someday it will. And I know I'm going to be the biggest baby in the world when it happens. My sister has had medical issues, nothing serious, but she's been in the hospital more, where I always think about that, where it's like, I'm not sitting there going, must be nice, but it's like that, where it's like the more life experiences you have early in your life. I don't know why I called out my sister. A lot of people have been overnight in a hospital more. The more you experience like the shit that life throws at you early, just the more prepared for it you are later. And I feel like the longer you go, the more like, the harder it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think.
No, I think that's right.
And so this is
to be clear, it was just I mentioned I had been where Robert Pattinson was earlier. I didn't want to imply that was about my current relationship with my wife.
Yeah, I understand.
I think everybody's been in a situation where you learn something about someone in your life, doesn't have necessarily a romantic partner, where you're like, oh, fuck, that really recategorizes how I felt about you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to be clear that it's not, I'm not speaking about Marina.
No, but like literally, I mean, listen, I don't want to blow up their spot, but somebody hasn't seen Terminator 2 that I know. Mm-hmm. And that really shook me, learning that they haven't seen Terminator 2 before.
Yeah.
And that changed the way I thought about this person. And I've had to do a lot of soul searching around that.
It's true. It's a real problem. It's something I've helped counsel you on.
Yeah. I guess I should just put on Terminator 2. Do we have anything else to say about this?
No. This is a
good movie.
Very interesting movie. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know. I'm excited to watch it again.
This writer-director, Christopher Borgli, is a Norwegian
He did that Nicolas Cage
that dream scenario. That's right.
Yeah, I still need to see that.
I haven't seen that
now I
one.
definitely want to see it.
Yeah, same. I'll have to watch it now. This was really good. I liked this a lot.
Yeah, me too. And thank you all. Thank you all for listening. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. If you go on there, if you give us $5 a month of your money, you get access to a bunch of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys, our new Supernatural podcast, Himboos. Check it out. Check it all out. We also watch movies every Friday night with our patrons as well. It's a lot of fun.
We do. We also have a store. Head over to GamefullyUnemployed.com. You can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork by cool original artists like Michael Vincent Bramley, Starlene Hodge, Justin Brown, and others. So check that out.
Check it out.
Please rate and review our podcast wherever you're listening. And check out our other show, Badical, Badical, also wherever you're listening.
Tom.
Dave.
What's the worst thing you've ever done? Me?
Listen, I don't want to throw the CIA any bones. I know they're listening, so...
That's fair.
Prove it. That's all I'll say.
Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at Artness by JustinBrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at StarleneArts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.